Watch. 2022 Grammys. 5 reasons why we can't wait to watch. Long story short, Taylor Swift has already achieved a great deal in her career. And this Sunday, April 3rd, the superstar singer could add to her long list of accolades by picking up her 12th Grammy Award. Swift is nominated in the Album of the Year category at the 2022 Grammys for her record Evermore. She's up against Jon Batiste, Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber, Doja Cat, Billie Eilish, H.E.R., Lil Nas X, Olivia Rodrigo and Kanye West. Last year, at the 2021 Grammys, the 32-year-old singer received the honor in the same category for Evermore's sister album, Folklore. Swift actually made history with that win, becoming the first woman to score Album of the Year at the Grammys for the 3rd time. She previously received the honor for albums Fearless in 1989. So, will she make it for this weekend? While we wait and see, E! News is taking a look back at some of Swift's milestones over the years, her advice to fans and a few enchanting details about her love life. Take a look at 32 fascinating facts about Swift below. 1. While Taylor Swift writes all of her own music, she specifically wrote her entire Speak Now album all by herself. No co-writers, just her. The album was released in October 2010, when Swift was just 20. 2. She grew up on a Christmas tree farm with her family in Pennsylvania. She references her time there on her holiday song of the same name. 3. She's named after James Taylor. That's right, from one music legend to another. 4. She's a former Abercrombie model. Just like fellow stars Channing Tatum, Jennifer Lawrence, Emma Roberts and Ashton Kutcher, T. Swift modeled for the company in 2003. 5. She gave Eric Church her first gold record. Back in 2006, she joined Rascal Flatts on their tour after Church was fired. Actually, she called me after I got fired. I read in the paper that we were fired. She called and said, "I want you to know that I love what you do," Church previously told the Arizona Daily Star. I joked with her, "This is your crowd, they're going to love you. You're going to owe me your first gold record." I was kidding, but when she got her first gold record she gave me one. It came with a note, "Thanks for playing Too Long and Too Loud on the Flats tour. I sincerely appreciate it." Taylor. 6. She has double-jointed elbows. During her 2016 Vogue 73 Questions video, Swift was asked if she has any really cool or bizarre talents. In response, she said, "Okay, I am well aware that this is not a talent, but this is like the only thing that I can do. I have double-jointed elbows." 7. Her drink of choice? Vodka and Diet Coke, as revealed in that same Vogue video. 8. She turned off her comments on social media to block some of the noise. In her essay for Elle, entitled 30 Things I Learned Before Turning 30, Swift explained, "Social media can be great, but it can also inundate your brain with images of what you aren't, how you're failing, or who is in a cooler locale than you at any given moment. One thing I do to lessen this weird insecurity laser beam is to turn off comments. Yes, I keep comments off on my posts. That way, I am showing my friends and fans updates on my life, but I am training my brain to not need the validation of someone telling me that I look fire emojis." 9. She was originally going to name her 7th studio album Daylight before landing on Lover. Before writing the title track, Swift had another name in mind for her 7th studio album. But since the album was the follow-up to Reputation, the singer thought the name Daylight would be a little too on the nose. So, when Swift wrote the song Lover, she decided that would be the name of the album. 10. She's the youngest solo artist to win Album of the Year. T. Swift was just 20 when she won the top honors in 2010 for her beloved album, Fearless. 11. Swift made history at the 2021 Grammys, becoming the first female artist to win Album of the Year 3 times. 12. Swifties will love this. The singer's album, Lover, sold over 1 million pure copies in the United States in its first few months alone, according to chart data. This was the first album to reach this milestone in 2019. 13. More historic milestones. At the 2019 American Music Awards, Swift surpassed Michael Jackson's record to become the most awarded artist at the AMAs. She currently is 34. 14. As a child, young Swift wanted to be a stockbroker, just like her dad. But she went on to find her true calling in music, later moving from Pennsylvania to Tennessee with her family to kick off her career. 15. She learned to play guitar around the age of 12 after learning a few chords from a technician who was fixing her computer. She then went on to write her first song, Lucky You. 16. She's obsessed with Phoebe Waller-Bridge. While talking about her love for Fleabag, Swift told Entertainment Weekly, "She makes you crack up, shocks you, and breaks your heart all in the span of a few minutes in that show." She later performed on the SNL episode which the Amazon Prime star hosted. 17. She wrote her own monologue for her appearance on Saturday Night Live in 2009, which doesn't usually happen with celeb guests. Swift clearly impressed the team with monologue song, La La La. 18. She's been BFFs with Selena Gomez since their respective relationships with the Jonas Brothers. In case you missed it, Sel Go even supported her best friend in mid-November, when she returned to SNL to perform the 10-minute version of All Too Well. Back in 2008, Swift spent time with Joe Jonas, while Gomez dated his younger brother, Nick Jonas. The two quickly became close pals, and have remained tight to this day. 19. Remember the redhead named Abigail that Swift references in 15, her beloved song about growing up? Well, she and Swift are still BFFs too. Abigail Anderson is her name, and Swift was a bridesmaid in her wedding in 2017. 20. She's a godmother, holding that distinction for pal Jamie King's son Leo Thames. 21. Swift has said that she may never perform her song Soon You'll Get Better, which is about her mother's cancer battle. During AQ 2019, as part of a SiriusXM Town Hall special, she shared, "It was hard to write, it's hard to sing. It's hard to listen to for me, but sometimes music is like that." 22. She doesn't have Twitter on her phone. In an interview with Billboard, Swift explained, "Sometimes, when I open Twitter, I get so overwhelmed that I just immediately close it. I haven't had Twitter on my phone in a while because I don't like to have too much news. Like, I follow politics, and that's it. But I don't like to follow who has broken up with who, or who wore an interesting pair of shoes. There's only so much bandwidth my brain can really have." 23. She's never been to therapy. "I talk to my mom a lot, because my mom is the one who's seen everything," Swift told Rolling Stone in September 2019. "God, it took so long to download somebody on the last 29 years of my life, and my mom has seen it all." 24. She enjoys the simplicity of life in London with longtime love Joe Alwyn. Taylor has been spending a lot of downtime in London. She doesn't go out much other than to take a walk with Joe or go to the local pub, a source told E! News in early December 2019. They spend a lot of time with Joe's family and 25. Speaking of Alwyn, she's also the actor's #1 fan. 26. According to an interview, her favorite lyrics off of her Lover album are, "Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand? With every guitar string, scar in my hand, I take this magnetic force of a man to be my lover." 27. Swift is one of the highest paid women in music. According to a Forbes report, released in August 2019, Swift made $185 million in pre-tax earnings over that year alone. 28. The 2019 Netflix film, Someone Great, inspired her music. "I cried watching the movie. For about a week, I start waking up from dreams that I am living out that scenario, that's happening to me," she told Elvis Duran during an interview. "I have these lyrics in my head based on the dynamics of these characters, and I went in the studio with Jack Antonoff. The studio session led to the creation of Swift's song, Death by a Thousand Cuts." 29. She has a special place for her most emotional songs. From All Too Well to The Archer, the superstar reserves the 5th spot on her albums for a heartbreaking ballad. 30. After years of highs and lows, Swift was ready to start anew with her 7th disc, Lover. There are so many ways in which this album feels like a new beginning, Swift said in her September 2019 Vogue cover story. This album is really a love letter to love, in all of its maddening, passionate, exciting, enchanting, horrific, tragic, wonderful glory. 31. Her boyfriend, Alwyn, is one of her co-writers. That's right, the actor is actually credited under a pseudonym, William Bowery, on Swift's Folklore and Evermore albums. He helped write songs Betty and Exile on Folklore and tracks Evermore, Coney Island and Champagne Problems on Evermore. 32. Additionally, Swift's folklore song Peace is about her relationship with Alwyn. As she explained to Paul McCartney in a 2020 interview for Rolling Stone, I, oftentimes, in my anxieties, can control how I am as a person and how normal I act and rationalize things, but I cannot control if there are 20 photographers outside in the bushes and what they do and if they follow our car and if they interrupt our lives. I can't control if there's going to be a fake weird headline about us in the news tomorrow.